note. Carry. Colors. Ready? Cut. Post.
Ask my guy there if he wants water. Thank you. Water? I have plenty.
Forward. March. Detail. Order. Color. Ready to set.
Anybody in this room want water? One time. March. Left turn. March. Detail. Halt. Right over. Wait, when I say present, don't go up. As they go out, present. Colors. One. Tick, two. Tick, tick, three. Tick, tick, four. Now you go up. Right away, like as they do it, but you gotta do it fast. Because they're gonna, it's gonna be a pause. Technically, you know, real quick, you stand there and you wait till the first note, then you go out. So as soon as the note goes out, then you can go out. So they get here, right? As soon as they get there, go up. So they just got there. There you go. Wait till as soon as they finish, as soon as they get out. And I are right here, so sit in this room.
First note, last note. Carry. Colors. Ready? Cut. Get back. Ready? Cut. Post.
Metro Police, the local police department, yes. Okay, I'm retired local Metro. Hello. You didn't like that? If you don't like Metro, don't spill stuff on me.
I'll come back. I have paper towels.
That was pretty,
Yes. Yes, I want to be able to prove that you did it.
I'll stand next to it. Here, look. It's like one of the old jokes.
hey, oh, good to see you. Oh, you see me here. How are you? Hey, that drink had alcohol in it.
I'm gonna go grab my mop because I don't want these rings slipping.
Don't leave your seat open.
I guess Ryan saw something just Jenny.
Get a hug or not? I don't know quite.
Well, I don't know.
Same here. Both ways, but yeah, it hurt me, and we don't need to get into it. I do apologize for telling you that, though.
Don't make me.
I just don't do that.
Don't make me.
I'm trying not to. I just want to say everybody that, yeah. So, hey, how are you? You look wonderful. And you're happy?
My husband.
So, hey. Hi, lady. I didn't see hi. How are you? I haven't even been around. It's my daughter, Savannah. Excuse me, sir. He's a whole story.
Hi everyone, I know some people are tired of hearing my voice, but we've got the cars here, we got Tiffany and the family and friends here. So for people in the back, if you want a chair, please come up here and grab a chair. Family, you're in the front row, speakers are in the second row, your names are on the chairs. But we want to get this started, I know everybody got a little hot outside. There are more waters in the back. Okay, so everybody who's lingering back there who wants a chair, I'm giving you like 5-minute cue to sit down because we've got our Marine Corps Guard ready to start soon. Thank you.
Grandma was so mad when I told her, like,
Make sure your ringers are up. All right. Find the guy with everybody. Make sure your ringers are up.
Get mom out of the house, yes.
Okay, we're done.
All right, Kayla.
Would everyone kindly take your seats so we can present the colors? say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Carry. Colors. Ready, cut. Pulse. Forward. March. Detail. Halt. Order. Halt. Hold up.
Take seats! Hello. I am Chaplain Tania Dow, and I am Army! Applause for that, okay? All right, but I know we got a lot of Marines in the house.
Go Navy!
Yeah, okay, Navy, all right, Navy. Okay, let me set my flag down. I carry it with me everywhere. All right, Patriots. Oh, I will need that because I will need to be able to tell people who is next. Ooh, folks. I just want to say welcome. Welcome to the Leather Neck Club. Welcome to the celebration and memorial service of Kevin Major Howard. You guys, we're in for a lot today. And I like the little laughter, and I want to see all smiles. Let me see some smiles. Let me see some smiles, come on. When we think of Kevin, I know most of you, hard worker that he is, dedicated person that he is, how he served our community, how he served first responders, how he served the military, how he served the 9/11 loss and survivors, how he served in the film community, how he served his family, his loved ones, his friends. I'm getting feedback, Ken. Do you hear it? Maybe I just need to go down like this, or no? How you guys okay with the feedback? Okay, all right. So first I would like us to do something very simple. And I would like us to just close our eyes. And take a deep breath. Exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale. Open your eyes. And smile. Why are we smiling? Guess what? The Lord blessed us with another day. And as we know, as we gather today, that tomorrow's not promised to any of us. So what I would like to do right now is take a few minutes and say, thank you. So from your mouth, please say, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this day. Come on. Thank you for this day. Thank you that each and every one of us made it here safely. And thankful for all those who weren't able to make it but are here in spirit and in heart. Okay. Really? You can't hear me back there? Oh, now, because I got a voice that carries, so okay. I did say Army, right? What I want to do is also recognize one of my dear friends that's standing in the middle by the door. He is an amazing trooper, and he's a Marine. Sergeant Bobby Bouchard. Thank you for escorting the Angel vehicles here. Thank you for getting our family here safely. We really appreciate all that you and your brothers do and sisters do to take care of this country and this city through all that you do. So thank you. Let's give them applause again. So I really want to take the time to honor KEVYN and KEVYN's belief system. KEVYN was and is living as a man of faith. He had great faith in his God, in Jesus, and all that he did in service was for him. The reason I mention that is because we have to remember that our lives are a gift from God, or whoever you think the higher being is. But I hope you know that somebody put us here, right? And we're here to serve one another. And you will see an amazing example of how KEVYN set the bar so high, folks. Today, as we celebrate his life, you will see that he will show us how to do it. And he leaves the legacy of encouraging us all to serve one another as he did. I would like us to remember especially the importance of today. Not just this day, but the day of today, present. The present time. The present time. And who we memorialize as we bow together to pray. Now, as we pray, I would ask you to call upon whomever it is that you hold most high I will be praying to the Heavenly Father. So, Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together. Lord, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for this life. Lord, we thank you for KEVYN. We are so thankful that he was in our lives, Lord. We are so thankful that we know now that he is in your presence and with you, receiving his reward and hearing, well done, good and faithful servant. Lord, this is a prayer that we all have. That when we breathe our last, because we don't know when that will be, that we will be ready, Lord, and that you will embrace us and hug us and just tell us, Lord, you watched us, you saw us, and you appreciate us. The scripture that comes to my mind is, God so loved this world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever would believe in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. And this is the promise we have today as we remember KEVYN, because we know that he loved you, believed in your Son, and therefore we know that he exists in eternity in everlasting life. Now, Lord, we ask that each person here will be mindful of their dash. And what is a dash? Well, the year we were born is going to be the first thing written on our tombstone. And then there'll be a long, or maybe short, dash. That dash is your life. That dash is what you chose to do with the life that God gifted you with. Because our life is a gift from God. And what we do with it is our gift back to God. So I encourage you, Lord, to guide us in our dash. Let us see and model KEVYN's example, and to touch the life of everyone we can, to live a life of service, and to live a life of love. And we ask this, Lord, as we ask you to comfort the family while we're together, and you comfort his friends while we're together, and as we ask your presence while we're together. And we ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, thank you, everyone. We have our first set of speakers, and everything was set up so that we could know about KEVYN's life. And this is exciting because we have Kim LaForest Howard, who will come up and she will share about the early years and family with KEVYN. Let's welcome up Kim.
I can't. And just want to take a moment. This way? This way? This way?
No, hold it closer.
This way? This way? Okay. As you can tell, I'm not the actor in the family. First of all, I gotta put on my glasses, and I pray that I don't ugly cry, and I'll look at Tawny and she'll say, suck it up. Come first, there we go. This is my 4th edition of my speech, and I could write forever about my brother. For those of you that don't already know me, but I think you do because I've just been introduced, I'm KEVYN's sister. And I want to thank you, Tiffany, family, and all his friends for putting on such a beautiful celebration of his life. How beautiful, and he would just love it, and I know he's here. You can feel the love for him in this room, and I just want to let you know that that just warms Kelsey's and my heart. Tiffany and Kevin were really meant to be together, and although a lot of us didn't know it at the time, Kayla sure did. I truly wish I didn't have to be standing here today. I think we can all agree that none of us really wanted to be here under these circumstances. These past couple of months have felt like something out of a dream, or more accurately, a nightmare. But as we all know, the circle of life had its turn with Kev on February 14th, 2025. He was such a little Cupid, it doesn't surprise me that I left his son Valentine's Day. We were all shocked and devastated, but even in the depths of our sadness, we know one thing for sure. Kevin will live in our hearts forever, and today we're here to celebrate the extraordinary man, husband, father, friend, and brother that he was. Thank you, Tiffany and Kayla, for giving me the honor to talk about the early years of his life. I'll get it together. Kevin Major Howard, or as many of you know him, he was called Heavy Kevy, Dogface, one of the Special Ks, and of course that guy when he and Kelsey started talking politics. Bonus dad to Kayla, husband to Tiffany, but among his many nicknames, there was one he held dear, and of course that was Rafter. He loved it. He was born January 27th, 1956, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Thanks, there's no booing. Thanks for not booing. I didn't know if I was going to put that joke in or not, or say it. He is predeceased by his parents, Connie and Mel Howard, and his youngest brother, Kirby. Our mom was from a small town in Ontario, and our father was from Alabama. We always had a tremendous respect for our parents' decision and courage that it took to raise a family with all the challenges of being an interracial couple in 1956. We were the only interracial family that we knew of, and we were like a lot of families, dysfunctional. And we had issues, but we also had lots of love. Throughout the dysfunction and issues, or maybe even because of them, created this tremendous sibling bond that we had with each other. And Kevin was the leader in creating and maintaining that bond. He is survived by me and our brother Kelsey. Kevin is also survived by his nephews Tyson and Dominic, his great nephew Miles, and many beloved cousins, and an older sister Dee from my father's previous marriage. If you've caught on by now, that's why we were called Special Ks. Kevin, Kim, Kelsey, Kirby, and we did have a dog named Kelly at one time. Kev was the oldest. He and I were only a year apart, and or a year and a half apart. And then Kelsey and Kirby came along. Sorry. Yes. I'm just going to drop them on. There you go. I like it. I did that one. Now, no, I don't. I dropped it. That was my.
Page 1. There you go. We're good.
If there's page 5 in there, I need. Okay. Okay. Now, if you can just close your eyes for a second and picture this. Kevin is a little kid. He had this huge smile, the blonde hair that always stuck up at odd angles, depending on what stage his brush cut was in, and these sparkling blue eyes that were full of love, kindness, and mischief. He was a tiny guy, but what he lacked in height, he more than made up for in charm and troublemaking. One of my fondest memories of him as a little guy is the "I bet you can't do this" game. That's how this game went. More often than not, his challenges ended with me needing stitches or a burned hand. But we laughed so hard to do it, so hard together, I'd do it all again in a heartbeat. He was my best friend, my first best friend, my forever friend, and we were inseparable as kids. I adored him. As Tiffany once said to me, I've known him the longest. Tells you how old I am. For half of our childhood, we grew up in a suburb of Montreal called Dorion-Vaudreuil. It was a magical and safe place, filled with lots of friends and freedom to play, safe outside all day long. There were about 10 kids, and we all lived on the same street, and we were all so close in age. We went on explorations in the forest with packed lunches and our imaginations. We played Army, another one of Kevin's games. And we slept outside in tree forts during the summer evenings. In the winter, we would flood our backyards to make an ice rink and jump in snowbanks off our verandas. One of Kevin's early loves started right there on Karen Avenue. And no surprise, it was one of my friends. He was maybe 9 or 10 at the time, and after one of our family games, he came to me with this secret. And we shared lots of secrets. He and my best friend had kissed. I'll never forget the panic on his face when I told him that kissing someone would make them pregnant. I don't know if I totally believed it or if it was just justification for the stitches. Every Sunday, our mom would make a roast beef dinner with Yorkshire pudding, and for dessert, we would have the baked pies and or cakes she baked from scratch the day before. We would then watch the Disney movie and the Ed Sullivan Show. Watching movies was a family thing. Our dad loved movies, and that is where I think Kevy first got his acting bug. Now, Kevin was always that guy who could talk his way out of anything. Even when he faced bullies at school, he stood his ground. He was small, but his charm and that big heart of his won people over. And speaking of winning people over, you all probably remember his famous generosity. That started at a very early age. Kevin would surprise me and my friends by buying us lunch at the local Big Scoop, or even buy me a birthday gift, like a tape deck and a slide and the Family Stone cassette for when he earned his first paycheck. He never stopped being that guy who made others feel seen and loved, and he didn't just want to live a life for himself, he wanted to bring other people along for the ride, and I'm sure everybody can attest to that. Now, let's talk about his teenage years. And I used to share with him, it's like, I could be so rich right now, selling your stories. You're selling your secrets, but I would never do it. Close your eyes again and picture this. He loved clothes. That blonde hair of his was coiffed just right. And if it wasn't, he would jump back in the shower and restyle it again. So not one hair was out of place. He also had to have the perfect crease in his jeans, and needless to say, it would make us late for school on many occasions. Yeah, it's a joke. We moved to Vancouver when Kev was about 12 or 13 years old. Our father was a musician, and he would play piano and sing in the lounges of many upscale hotels. Oops. He kept getting more jobs on the West Coast, and it was inevitable that we would move there. As a teenager, Kevin was blessed to know what he wanted to do in life. While many of us were still figuring out who we were, He already knew what he wanted, to be an actor. From the time we were young, Kevin had this incredible self-confidence. He wasn't waiting for anyone to tell him what was possible. He just went for it. It was an amazing thing to watch, and I'm sure a lot of you saw that in him as well. He had this boldness and drive that seemed to set him apart. I remember him in high school, already the star of the school plays. He was a heartthrob actor at Eric Hammer Secondary, which, let's face it, didn't hurt his popularity at all. He was the guy who could make you laugh, charm you with his mischievous grin, and leave you feeling like the most important person in the room. We're getting better. By the end, we should be back. And he did all of this while juggling his passion for music, acting, and just living life to the fullest. He played by his own rules, like I know a lot of you know, and for a rule follower like me, it would sometimes make me very anxious. He would cover for me, and I would cover for him. Unless it was borderline illegal, then Kelsey would cover for him. He was passionate, compassionate, intense, generous, loving, charming, funny, cute, gifted, creative, determined, trusting to a fault, and would never accept a no as an answer for something he wanted to do. Now there was also his love for cars and driving fast. He always had a bit of the Steve McQueen in him, and before he was even 16, he had learned how to drive and was often sneaking our dad's car in and out of the parking stop, and sometimes with Kelsey as his accomplice. And if you've ever driven with my brother, you've experienced what I like to call Kevin's need for speed. I'm convinced had he not been an actor or created Fueled by the Fallen, he would have made an excellent race car driver.
In his younger years. Yeah, I'd say
It's so true, Tiffany, because Chuck can attest to this. When we went for the test drive in we had the test driving race car track. I can't remember the name now. In Las Vegas. Kevin didn't get in the car. He wouldn't get in the car. He bought his first car when he was 16. It was a gray Chevy, and he would be really upset with me right now because I don't remember what kind of Chevy it was. He bought it with the savings from his first job, which was working at the local pharmacy delivering on-foot medications to the elderly that lived in the high-rises in the West End. And Kevin also had his moments of teenage rebellion, of course. There were the usual teenage shenanigans, sneaking out, running away from home for a bit, maybe getting into some trouble at school, but that never defined him. What defined my brother was his ability to pick himself up, learn from mistakes, and just keep going forward with more energy than ever. He was all about living fully, making the most of every moment, whether it was acting, playing guitar with his band, or having deep philosophical conversations, usually something controversial, with anyone that would listen. And he wasn't just passionate about his own dreams. He was generous with his time and energy. If you ever had a conversation with Kevin, you know he would always make you feel heard, supported, and appreciated. He could light up any room, and his teenage years were no exception to that.
I know what to get you for Christmas. Notebooks.
Yes. He was the guy who bought lunch for friends at Big Scoop, the guy who gave me birthday presents, and the guy who always made sure no one was left out. Now, I'm going to just do some random facts, because I said I edited, so I'm just going to do random facts. Here's some random facts about my dog face. First of all, I don't know when and why I started calling him dog face. I think it was when he gave me a puppy dog look, because he wanted me to do something for him, and And I said, don't give me that dog face look. And we laughed and laughed. Between us, it was a term of endearment and fun to watch people's reaction when they heard me call him that. I remember Chuck Spiker being so upset that I had written happy birthday dog face on his birthday cake. Some other fun facts about him. He was an excellent golfer. When he turned 50, I made him a superhero cape with a big K and gave him a crown to wear, and he wouldn't take it off. He wore it all night. He rocked himself to sleep at night. He went to a French Catholic school and was an altar boy. He loved hearing Curb sing and laughed at all Kelsey and Tyson's jokes. They even had their own private chat where they would share the raunchiest and darkest human jokes. He loved to watch Kayla perform. He had a great giggle and he blushed easily. He liked his eggs cooked a certain way. He wrote poetry. He did pin art. He didn't like to fly and asked Tiffany about the time that he took a sleeping pill before and they had to deep him. He let me put makeup on him as a teenager so I could practice my makeup skills, and let me put his hair in pigtails. He did the special K dance. He wasn't afraid to cry. He was a collector. He had 20 pairs of the exact same jeans, but only would wear one pair over and over again. He idolized our father. He was afraid of needles and spiders. He loved his shiny suit. And he loved the Fuel by the Fallen jacket that Chuck Condor made for him. He loved that. Kevin taught us so many lessons. He taught my sons that a person's worth doesn't depend on their status, and to always take the time to ask someone their name, whether they're the CEO or the bathroom attendant. His legacy is full of kindness, generosity, and that unique ability to bring out the best of everyone. Of course, I could go on and on about him, but I know others want the opportunity to share too. So let us celebrate all his adventures and the challenges, the person Kevin was, his laughter, his generosity, his infectious charm, and his ability to light up a room with just a smile. He's left us with so many beautiful memories, and those are what we will carry forward forever. Thank you for all being here to celebrate him and his life with us. You know, he's gone too soon, but he sure packed a lot in for those 69 years he was here. Thank you so much.
Bring your attention to the screen, please.
I pray you'll be alright and watch us where we go and help us to be wise in times when we don't know.
Deep breath. In and out. Another one. Now smile. That was so lovely, Tiffany. So touching. This next, so there's so many facets to KEVYN. And I was blessed to not only work with him driving one of the 9/11 tribute vehicles and being a law enforcement. I'm a retired Metro detective here from Vegas. Yes, thank you. Yet I'm also an actress, an award-winning actress. And to be able to know KEVYN as I knew KEVYN, and to receive the support that I received from him and the encouragement that I received from him was such a blessing. So to be able to be a part of this service, much more than just be a chaplain, but to be a friend of the family is a true blessing. So thank you for allowing me to be here. So next we're going to welcome up one of his colleagues in the other hat that he wore. As an actor, we're going to welcome up Lou Pizarro.
I need them too, yes. Oh, there you go. How's everyone doing? Yeah? Outstanding. That's what I want to hear. So, yeah, I wrote it down this time. Normally I don't. So, and I like to make it short and sweet, everyone, so here we go. So, we are here. KEVYN Major Howard. As a talented actor, KEVYN left an indelible mark on the world of entertainment. But more than that, he was a true gentleman whose humility and kindness inspired countless people. KEVYN's impressive career in TV and film was a testament to his dedication and passion for his craft. Yet despite his success, he never forgot his roots and remained grounded. I can tell you that. KEVYN loved his stars and stripes. You guys know what I mean. He never hesitated to stop and pay tribute to everyone that crossed his path. And take an occasional photo when ordered. Oh, yeah. He had a rare and precious quality, one that earned him the respect and admiration of his peers and his fans alike. But KEVYN's greatest legacy goes beyond his acting career. He had a heart of gold, and his compassion and empathy drove him to spend a significant part of his life paying tribute to our fallen heroes, from military and first responders abroad. Those are those cars we all see outside, though. Those beautiful angels. Ooh. With the love and undeniable support of his stellar wife, Tiffany, and his entire family. His selflessness and commitment to honoring those who have made the ultimate sacrifice are an inspiration to all of humanity. KEVYN, your passing leaves a void in our lives, but your memory and legacy will continue to inspire us. We will remember your bright smile, your infectious laughter, and your generous spirit. You may be gone, but you will never be forgotten. Rafter Band, give our best to Gunny. Rest in peace, sir. KEVYN, your tribute will live on in our hearts forever. Semper Fi, and thank you.
And our your attention again to the screens.
Ain't she sweet? So you're walking down the street. Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet?
You know what really pisses me off about these people?
What?
We're supposed to be helping them and they shit all over us every chance they get.
You keep saying you got something for me. Something you love. But
I'm real glad Jenny's okay. I can't believe you guys came back for me. You
you've
can.
been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin'. And now someone else is getting all your best.
Hey man, what you?
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do.
What difference does it make to you?
One of these days, these boots are gonna
Kid, where's my granddaughter?
all over you.
You slimy bastard.
Well, it depends on the situation. I mean, I'm here to take combat photos. But if the shit gets too thick, I mean, I'll go to the rifle.
You keep lying when you ought to be truthin',
Hey, Callahan.
and you keep losing when you ought to not
Don't look so
bet.
puked out. Better luck next time, fool.
You keep saying when you ought to be changing. Now what's right is right, but you ain't been right yet. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
You beat her face to a pulp. You broke her body down to nothing at all, and then you threw her in an alley to left her to die. And I'm gonna do the same thing for you.
You keep playing where you shouldn't be playing, and you keep thinking that you'll never get burned. Ha!
The kid got away from you. Went to a damn disco.
That's enough, face. I want to get out to the shit. I want to get some trigger time.
What he knows you ain't had time to learn.
But you should have gotten out of here.
These boots are
Now let them
made
come
for
back when we
walking,
stand for truth,
and that's
justice,
just what
and the
they'll
American
do.
way.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Tom, to me, you're nothing but dog shit. You understand? A lot of things can happen to dog shit.
Are you ready, boots? Start walking.
You believe in Jesus? Well, you're gonna meet him.
boots. Start walking.
So he had a camera, huh? Can you guys hear me back there? Let me get a thumbs up from the back of the house. Yes, awesome. So that was cool. We saw him with a camera. Well, let's talk about another hat that Kevin wore. And to talk about it, we're going to have one of his highest muses come up here and share about Kevin. Let's welcome Kayla.
Thank you. And like many hats, I have decided to wear Kevin's own hat. So as I'm inclined with the technology of the 21st century, or well, what century we're in now, I guess you could say, I have my speech on the phone.
Generation Z, right?
Now do bear with me, as I was actually writing the speech, I did have some complications with a little bit of a waterworks. So we're gonna hope we get through this just like Kimmy had, so let's see what we can do. So photography had shared an extensive role within Kevin's life. I'm sure everyone who knew him from the early years remembered Kevin Major Howard for his headshot photography, KMH Studios, as we all know and love. From the moment I've known Kevin, he was a photographer through and through, and that was my first impression of him. I remember just as a child, I recall journeys set forth by my agent when I was just the ripe age of 4, and my mother and grandmother were sent forth to Los Angeles, California, to go find a photographer who was hidden away taking photos in a garage. A little strange at first, but he is a natural light photographer and he produced some of the best headshots I've seen. So, moving on, when I met Kevin, in that one headshot session that I'd had, things had clicked. It seemed as though his ability to capture people's expression within their eyes and just the natural identity of people within that just made a lasting impact on me. And even though I was young, we hit it off right away, and I continued year after year to ask my mother to come back to Los Angeles to record, or not record, but take headshots of me for my acting repertoire. Well, one thing led to the next, and say about 3 headshot sessions in, can't get the word session out, Kevin finally actually started looking over at Tiffany. And while I could say one thing did lead to another, I decided that I knew things were sparks, or I knew the sparks had flown beforehand. So I'm going to take a moment to share a lovely story that I have. I'm going to grab this if you want. Or do you want it? No, you come up. I'll grab it. I'll grab the bear. So, fun little fact. Kevin and I, like I said, hit it off. We knew that I loved taking headshots with him. I knew there was a certain spark in personality. He was my partner in crime, and I was his partner in crime as well, so we always got away with the best we could. But before they were even together, before they got engaged or anything like that, I made my mission, and I think 7 or so years old, to get a groom spare. And
September 20th, 2008.
on September 20th, 2008, before they'd even been engaged, before anything like that, I went to Build-A-Bear because I was obsessed at the time, and I made a Kevin Build-A-Bear. Bought him a suit and tie, did everything else. She wasn't so lucky she didn't get a bear. She still doesn't have a bear. But the best part about this was, I never gave Kevin the bear until I decided the time was right. And I kept this bear locked away in the closet with the aid of my grandmother, tucked away without even Tiffany knowing, without Kevin knowing, or anybody, unless the person who bought it at the time was there. And one day when it's been 10 years, or it was 10 years when I held it, when they finally tied the knot and got it together, and I was the accomplice to the ceremony, which was a lot of fun, I finally decided, now as bride and groom, I would give Kevin his bear. Now I'm not going to tell you what it says. There's a hidden recorded message there. My voice is terrible. It was 7 years old. It's hilarious. But it basically was saying, baby, 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 you're my special honey. I don't know what I thought at the time, but that's how it was then. Continuing on, I will pass along the bear. Oh, wait. I'll end my speech. Anyways, I know got a little off topic. So the bear is a special part of us. I can't believe I kept it for 10 years a secret, and I'm really thankful that everyone was tight-lipped enough about it, that knew about it, to keep it that way. It was just Graham and I, yeah. So, prior to his studio house, Kevin was a renowned headshot photographer, and there are many people, and probably here actually, who knew Kevin before I even knew him, before Tiffany knew him with Kevin Major Howard's studios. He had an amazing business on one of the most busy streets of Hollywood, and he was bringing in actors and actresses every single day with a talented team of publicists, printers, makeup artists, some from the Hollywood's best, as well as hairstylists. There are amazing memories there, and I'm really wishing that one of these people would come up and actually talk about those times, because I wish I could share them myself. But he had changed the industry forever, and with his success as the king of the Hollywood headshot photographer, there was nothing like it. I'm thankful enough to capture my growth in life through the eyes of his lens, because I remember watching photos grow on from the age of 4 all the way up until 24, and it's been an honor to have him take my headshots throughout those years. Let's see, we're getting along. When the days came when the studio moved on and Kevin transferred to Vegas, I'd also have the opportunity to have my own professional photographer to lean on for headshots. But he was more than just that, and Kevin was a second father to me. I'd learned the ins and outs of headshot photography as well as camera work. I'd stole glasses of milk from him, especially when the gallon we just bought was especially getting empty in that same day. We batted away raccoons from his cottage garden in Koi Pond, and left the countless seasons of 2.5 Men that I had somehow managed to keep finding on DVD. Every year we'd have a new season. He taught me the importance of your word and the respect that you give to others. Okay, we're getting peanut gallery talk. He gives me the importance of your word and the respect that you give to others, especially amongst our servicemen and women who shared his passion for remembrance to the world. Aside from the extraordinary team, Kev, Tiffany, and I were the beginning of Fueled by the Fallen. And through it all, I'm proud to see the magnificent nonprofit that started from an empty race car that reminded the world to pause and pay respect to those who'd fallen. It's funny to think about how sitting down for agent headshots many, many moons ago would have ever transformed my life into anything that it is today. But I'm so thankful to be here, and I'm thankful for the person that Kevin had been within my life. To Kev, we'll keep the halos and the lights on, and keep them at 3 for you. I miss you, love you, bye, dog face.
So for Michael, Ryan and Rick, that means a trip to see the king of the Hollywood headshot, Kevyn Major Howard, who makes a virtue out of working at the back of his garage with no lights.
I don't pursue the lighting schedule of a studio photograph. To me, it's very portraiture.
Okay, Ryan, what I want you to do here, I want you to just do this. Sit like this, butt back, and just lean straight ahead like this.
I think because of my style that I shoot in, I have enabled the industry, the actor within the industry, to really get authenticity about whom he is or she is, to the performance level that when people look at my work, they actually feel that they're meeting that person.
How's the career going?
It's going good.
Yes?
It's going very good, yeah.
Tell me what's been going on.
Well, well, just kind of moving along, you know.
So what I try to do with available light is that's the light that's God given us. It's what we look like every day of our lives, every minute we walk somewhere. Let's use that light.
All right. Rick, what I want you to do here, you're going to start off this way, leg like this, butt back in the chair, hang up. Okay. Really nice look, Rick. You know who you remind me of a little bit?
Eric Roberts.
No, Ray Liotta. I knew that. It'd be smart for you to actually take your 8x10. Send it to Ray Liotta. Send it to Ray Liotta's manager and his agent. Well, Ray Liotta's
Photo double.
Wait, no, you could be cast simply as his brother or a twin.
I'd like to recreate in the camera what I physically see in life. When you and I both meet, we look into each other's eyes. When we do such things, our ears are not in focus, our shirt is not in focus, this background is not in focus. So I really try to record that authenticity within the photograph. For instance, when you look in my eyes, you see that relationship of this not being in focus. It's the same thing I'm trying to create in this photograph. You can see her eyes. They really come off the page. But it's because of, I've shown you within the camera, that illusion of our ears are not in focus like hers are not. The clothing is not in focus. And so all you get is her representation of who she is authentically.
Hey, Michael. Kevin Major Howard. Nice to meet you.
Michael David.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. All right, what I want you to do is set up with. Yeah. Chin down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good, Michael. Good.
Right there.
Where are you from, Michael?
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit. How long have you been out here?
3 years.
You're a baby out here.
Yes, I am.
How's her going?
It's steady.
Your shoulder
Can you imagine how powerful it is for those actors, those aspiring individuals to be lifted up by him and encouraged by KEVYN to believe that they could be more than they were at that time? That's a gift. And next, we will have a video that will introduce you to another hat. And that is Fueled by the Fallen.
So it's Friday, 14th of February. It's 8:20 in the morning, and I'm sound asleep, and I'm woken up like a bolt of lightning hit me. I bounce out of bed. I can't figure out why I'm awake. Never like that. I go outside, it's snowing, I shovel up the sidewalk, come in about an hour later, and I get a text that KEVYN had passed away. And at 7:20 in the morning, in Vegas time, well, I live in Idaho, 8:20 was an hour ahead. He bitch slapped me on the way to heaven. So as I get to the pearly gates, I'm sure St. Peter said, Raptor Man's here, angels welcome him. Anyway, my name is Mike Asquez, and I had the honor of being a friend of KEVYN's for over 30 years. And he was a great guy, and you meet a lot of great people, but KEVYN was one plus that. Heart as big as gold, and just a terrific person. Most people know him as Raptor Man from Full Metal Jacket, but if you go back and see some of the other things he did, he was in Scared Straight Part 2. He did 240 Robert, which was a television show about the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, which was near and dear to me because I was an LA County Sheriff for 35 years. He did Magnum PI opposite of Frank Sinatra, who didn't do much television at that time, and it was a fantastic role. KEVYN really was a dirtbag in that one, but Frank took care of that problem. He did a lot of other things that you see. He even did Miami Vice. He had the honor of getting shot by Sonny Crockett. And his movies were wonderful, but he was also a fantastic photographer. And when I met him, he had his own studio out in West Hollywood, which was the area I worked. And that's where we ended up meeting. I got to be friends with his wife, Tiffany, who is trying to film this as I'm coming through an unscripted obituary about a really good guy. KEVYN did Fueled by the Fallen, which was a tribute to all our soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan who passed away. And he made race cars with their names emblazoned on these cars to honor them, so our country never forgot them. Then later on, he and I talked about doing law enforcement vehicles. He had a pair set up, and we got those, or he got those done, and then I went to the LA County Sheriff, and Leroy Baca donated his parade car to Fueled by the Fallen, and we put on the names of every single officer killed within the confines of LA County since 1850. So that car held about 500 names. It's still running and is being used by the LA County Sheriff's Department. Then he had to go another step further, and he built the Angel Cars, which were a tribute to all the people that died in the 9/11 attacks on our country. And there was one vehicle for each of the towers. There was a first responders car, flight victims car, and a Pentagon car. If I remember correctly, those are the only cars that have ever been at the foot of the Statue of Liberty. So really big honor. And KEVYN was always giving back constantly. To see the look on people's faces when they saw these cars and realized the meaning of them was thanks enough. And KEVYN being KEVYN, people would recognize him, and he always, and I mean always, took the time to stay with those persons, even if he was late getting somewhere else. One time I was with him at the Sheriff's Academy, and I didn't think we were ever going to leave, because the training staff came out, the cadets came out, and the sergeants came out, and then we found a captain. But he took the time for every single person there, and talked with them all. He took a picture if they wanted it. He was that kind of person. To have someone like that in your life, unbelievably lucky, and I was very lucky. real quick one if you want, how we met, because Kevin was a big actor. I responded to a call in West Hollywood of a crazy person that was being very, very violent. It was at the corner of La Cienega and Holloway, which is a steep street. The building itself was still somewhat under construction, and again, it was on a hill. So they were still doing cement work, but Kevin's photography studio was open for business. And when we got to the call, there was 3 of us, I was the backup, and they couldn't contain this crazy guy. Batons were being used to no effect. So finally, and I happened to see Kevin, whom I didn't know who he was, and a woman walking up to unlock their business door, and so I was just obvious they were there. Anyway, I ended up tackling this guy and I threw him off the building. So because it was on a hill, we were probably on the 2nd floor, and of course he disappeared from sight, which much to the shock of Kevin, because I turned around in a very aggressive style, and he was a witness and I wanted his information, and you could actually see the heartbeat coming through the chest, because I have a feeling he thought the witnesses were going to die too. But I brought him to the edge of the building and I showed him where I threw the guy. Well, the construction work was underway. I had thrown the guy into a giant pile of sand for all the cement. So all you could see was his 2 little feet sticking out and his head, and 2 deputies down there trying to get him out, laughing and having a good time. And that's how I met Kevin. Terrific person to meet, and it was a lot of fun to watch his reaction. I got a lot of teasing out over the years. Incredibly sad that he's gone. I can't keep a straight look at the camera for that. I really miss my friend. And gone way too young. And he was gone, he's been taken from all of us. And I don't think we can replace him. So, go home tonight, crack a beer, watch Full Metal Jacket, enjoy yourself. Or watch one of his older shows so you can see him. And miss you, Kevin. Love you. Thank you.
So this next song, the video is beautiful, but the song's by highway patrolmen that we met at the border. They were patrolmen on the border that wrote this song, so please enjoy the highway patrolmen. That'll be the next song, sorry.
Many men have gone. Lay me down in the cold cauldron, where the foes, many men have gone. When they come, I will stand my ground, stand my ground. I'll never be afraid. Thoughts ahead, take away my fear. Sweat and blood, hide my veil of tear. Once a year,
me. Close your eyes and remember me. Ne'er more shall I see the sun, for I fell to a gentleman's gun. Lay me down in the cold, cold ground, where a foe many men have gone. Lay me down in the cold, cold ground, where a foe many men have gone. Where a foe many men have gone. Some say we're tough, some say we're strict, because we wear the badge and we never quit. Trained to protect you while you're on the road. Black and white is always ready to roll. Working as a highway patrolman, seen a bunch of things I don't understand. Working these long 12-hour shifts, trying to meet the deadline on my bills. You can cross the line at a Texas state sign, I'll be waiting on the other side. Working as a highway patrolman, living by the star and the law of the land. Some say we're abusive, some say we're corrupt. No, no, that thin blue line represents our love. For a fallen trooper serving on the job, who serve to protect them by the grace of God. Working as a highway patrolman, seen a bunch of things I don't understand. Working these long 12-hour shifts, trying to meet the deadline of my bills. You can cross the line at a Texas state sign, I'll be waiting on the other side. Working as a highway patrolman, living by the star and the law of the land. When we're on that open road, you will risk our lives so that you seen a bunch of things I don't understand. Working these long 12-hour shifts, trying to meet the deadline on my bills. Yeah, you can cross the line and take the state sign. I'll be waiting on the other side. Working as a highway patrolman, living by the star and the law of the land. Working as a highway patrolman, living by the star and the law of the land. Come on. Working as a highway patrolman, living by the star and the law of the land.
That was badass.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Can you hear me in the back? Did you guys hear all of the videos? All right, so now we're going to hear firsthand about Fueled by the Fallen, and we're going to hear from Major Chuck Conder. There you are. Oh, look, I should have known. Look at you.
Kevin said red, white, and blue. For my brother, I do it all. So I got to start off, first of all, to Kim, I got to correct myself. It was at Atlanta Motor Speedway, he would not get in the car. It was at Las Vegas Speedway, we were trying to do speed laps, and I called Kevin on the radio and said, look in your right side mirror, there's a grandmother in a wheelchair trying to pass you. He would not hit the gas pedal. And they had said the faster we went, the faster we could go. And Kevin wouldn't do it. Thank you all for being here. I'm gonna try to get through this. My dad taught me when I was young that the older you get, the closer to the surface your emotions become. And I'm a crier, so stand by, here we go. So it was May of 2008. I'd been in City Hall about 6 months, and we went to an event for Memorial Day, and I met some ladies from a group called Moms of Military Prayer Service, Family in Prayer. And at the end I said, hey, if you ever need me, give me a call. I gave them my card. They had been doing a memorial service for 9/11 since they started on September 7th, 2002. Middle of August, I get a phone call, and it was from Mary. And she said, hey, we're having a hard time trying to find some displays to show at the event. Can you help us? I said, well, I saw this guy on TV. He's got these cards with all these names on them. We had to go try to get him. And I got the, we're so busy, could you help us? And I said, absolutely. So I got on the internet and started playing around, and suddenly, after 5 minutes, I got this hot link, and it said, Fueled by the Fallen, Kevin Major Howard, with a 323 phone number. So I called the number. This is a famous guy. I'm expecting to get a publicist, a secretary, someone's gonna tell me to get lost. And Kevin answers the phone. And I told him what I was doing, what I needed, talked for a few minutes, and at the end he said, I'm so sorry, I can't help you. We're gonna be in Northern California filming a TV show called Pinks, the Pink Slips. And I said, hey, thank you for listening to me, appreciate your time, have a blessed day. And I waited for a, have a nice day, nice talking to you, something. About 10 seconds went by. And he said, I can't do that to you. I can't do that to our heroes. When do you need me? Where do you need me? So the night before the event, they drove all night. Now, one of the cars you saw up there had the name Keith Phillips on it. Keith had a big tractor-trailer truck with a flatbed, and Keith drove all night with the team, and they came down to Riverside, California. And we got the cars unloaded. They set up a little stand, and that's the day that Kevin reached in my chest, and he stole my heart. Here I go. So let me give you some of the adventures that we have done over the years. When we would meet somebody, and I'm going to talk mostly about the Angels, because that's most of the time I had. It was in May of 2010, we had all the military cars in New York, and we filmed the Huckabee show. And Saturday morning, we're getting ready for the pre-shoot. Chuck Spiker, one of the guys that built the cars, we were out there washing the cars off. Typical New York, this place is busy. We're right there on 46th Street. And Chuck all of a sudden says, God, look at that chick over there. And you look across the street, 60 yards away was a woman in her mid-40s, tight white slacks on, a red tank top, and she was speed walking. That's how we noticed her. The minute Chuck says, look at her, she stopped. And she looked over at us. He goes, Jesus, she heard us. There's no way she heard you. She stares at us and does the typical New York, walked through the car. And I'm walking here, I'm walking here. She walked right through the barriers and came up to us. And we were working on Army 2. And she said, my gosh, what is this? And we told her. She said, oh my God, would my son be on this car? So we sent Tommy off to grab the book. And I don't think Tommy made it maybe 30 feet. And she goes, oh, never mind, here he is. She was leaning on his name. This is the day that we discovered that these cars actually have souls with them. We were there. He was calling to Mom. And what she told us was she walks to Central Park every Saturday morning, and she never takes 46th Street. She always took 48 up to Avenue of the Americas, then down. And that morning she said, I think I'm just going to walk down 46th today. Had she not done that, had God not been in her head, she would have missed her son. That was the start of so many adventures that we had. So we got back from that trip, and I was down at the VFW visiting some people. I got a call from Kevin. I stepped outside. He said, I got this idea. I got this idea for 9/11. I want to do these cars. I want to call them angel cars. They're going to be white. We're going to have all the names on there. What do you think? I said, Kevin, you're onto something. I think this is going to be great. So he made Angel 1 first. And if you know the original cars, they were all white, and the names were all in gold. And all those names you saw in the military cars, and all the names you saw on the old cars and the old Angels, Kevin put those on by hand. That was not print. That was his time to give his gift to the fallen soldier. So in May, we did the police ride. We escorted the bicycles from New York City to Washington, D.C. Kim was with me, the Unity Tour. And we get down there, and we only have Angel 1. Again, some of the stories I want to tell you. When a person would come to the car and find a name, it's always the same. All of a sudden, they cry, they go down, they touch it, they put the head down, they kiss it. And we know, we've learned, my son Dan is out here somewhere. Dan was the original driver of Angel 3. My son Brian took over Angel 3 when Dan couldn't do things. And we learned how to back off and give him time. And when the time was come up, we'd walk up and go, who was John to you? Well, John was my brother. Tell us your best stories about John. Tell us your stories about him. And after half an hour, when they left, there was a sparkle in their eye, a smile on their face. They knew their loved one would not be forgotten. So one of the pictures there you saw in front of Angel 1, a guy holding a card. That was John Scaler's brother. John was a police officer. We met him in 2010 in the Unity Ride. I said, John, give me your best story about your brother. He goes, we were skiing up in the mountains. And all day, we were pushing each other around, kicking each other over, knocking each other down, having a hell of a good time. We get into the bar that night, had a few drinks, and we get in a little bit of a fight. I said, brothers fight. He goes, no, you don't understand. This was knuckles to chins and chins to knuckles. And he goes, I knocked him against the wall. He ripped a picture off the wall and slammed it on my head. I said, oh man, I bet you were just, 10 minutes later, have to be friends. He goes, no. We were picking glass out of my head for the next half hour, laughing our butts off and just having a great time. That's how I remember John Scale. I'll never forget him that way. So we make Angel 1, and then Kevin decides he's going to finish the fleet. So between fall of 2010 into the spring of 2011 and into the summer, he created the 5 Angels. And we debuted them August 22nd, 2011 on the U.S. Capitol grounds in Washington, D.C. And that's where we started. And at that time, we went up the coast all the way to the president's house. The President Bush asked to see us. Kevin and I took 2 vehicles up there to him to see him. An amazing event. Quick story on that. When he came out, he was in a golf cart, and they said he has Parkinson's. He cannot walk. He will not get out of the car. So as we stood there, they said, come up and talk to him. Well, after about 2 or 3 minutes, he looked over at the Secret Service guy who was about 6'9" and just had mean eyes. And he looked at me and goes, John, come over here. And he said, but Mr. President, you're not supposed, and that's as far as he made it. And I think the president looked at him like, don't you tell me what to do. And he helped him get him out of the car. And we walked down to the Pentagon car, which is the one I was driving. And he asked me as we left the golf cart to put my arm around him and put my thumb into his belt loop to guide him, because the Parkinson's had again taken his ability to walk straight. So I get down to the car and had a few words with him, so I'll never forget that time. So now the fleet is built, we're in New York City, we're down basically on Broadway, headed down to the 9/11 site. And we stopped first at the UPS facility at Houston Street, because UPS had helped us get out there. Another story, we're standing there, gentleman walks up, about 27 years old, asks what's going on, and I tell him. And he goes, oh my God, would my sister be on this car? And her name was Jennifer DeJesus. He told us he takes the train most days to work. As I came out that morning and went, hell, I think I'm gonna walk. Had he not walked, he would not have seen his sister. This goes on and on, ladies and gentlemen. You have no idea how many lives Kevin touched with these cars. We were in New Jersey and met a woman whose husband was in the Trade Center, and he made it out of the Trade Center. But he realized some of his people were still trapped, and he went back in, and he was never seen again, Mr. Chomsky. Well, the story with that is his wife knew all about him, she thought, but she didn't know her husband. He had a secretary that was about 8 months pregnant, and she was parking about 8.5 blocks away from the towers. And he saw her one day and said, what are you doing? Well, this is what I gotta do, I gotta walk. He said, no, no, no. You take my pass. You park in the towers, I'll walk. This is the man that loved his family, but he loved his employees. And his wife never knew this. So these are some of the stories, some of the adventures that I've been allowed through Kevin to experience. The people we've met, literally thousands. We've never, and I repeat this, we have never, ever made a stop at an event where someone didn't know someone on the cars. And we stopped in a little tiny town outside of Utah, outside of the capital, get the cars washed. And it's almost like Andy Griffith, you know, with like 10 buildings in the town. And this guy walks up and asks what was going on. He knew 3 people on those cars. Never have we ever been anywhere. And we've been in, I think the final count was 31 states that we've actually been through, plus Canada, plus Mexico.
39.
Was it 39? 39. An amazing, amazing ability to remind people what the cost of freedom is. That these innocent individuals lost their lives. One last story, we debuted the cars on the Capitol grounds, and we drove over to the Pentagon and parked them in front of the area where the building had been hit. And a couple came over to us, and they were Filipino. And they asked what was going on, and we told them, and their son, Christopher Romeo Bonestadt, was on the car. Think about Christopher. He was almost finished his 4th year in the Navy. He was not a U.S. citizen. He refused to take U.S. citizenry until he had served his new country. Just about 3 months short. What I learned about Chris was he loved the Beach Boys. He loved to be in his shorts and his thongs, sandals, and he loved to try to find some place around Washington, D.C. to go surfing. And he had a hell of a time trying to find it. He even had guys in boats trying to tow him because he loved the Beach Boys. These are the people that were on the cars. These are the families that we've met. This is what Kevin had the idea, not only with the military cars, which I could tell you amazing stories about, but with 9/11. Meeting those families, hearing the stories of their loved ones, understanding their loss, but letting them know that their loss was part of our lives, because we were going to carry their names wherever. I'll give you one last one. We were down in Rosemead, California on 9/11. We were out in the back of the parking lot, and they actually have a statue which is amazing. It's 2 arms from the elbow up, made from tower steel, holding a piece of the tower. And there are 2,977 doves that make up the outside of the arms. And there was a woman that lived about a mile away, and they had just moved there from Brooklyn. It was her and her daughter. Now think, Brooklyn to little Rosemead, California. She says to her daughter, hey, I've heard about this, in front of City Hall, they got this statue. Let's walk down and see it. You know, kind of pay homage to our people from New York. Daughter goes, okay, I'll do that. And they walked down not knowing this event was going on. They kept walking around the corner, it's like, so they sat down and they listened to it. when it was all done, they came out to the cars. And they came up to us, actually I was at Angel 2, asked what was going on. I told them, oh my gosh, would my husband be here? We found, we got pictures of her with her husband and her daughter. Kevin went up to her, to the mother, and said, whenever you want this car, you call me, I will deliver it, and you go on a date with your husband. He turned to the young girl, Samantha, who hadn't got a driver's license yet. She was in class. And she said, you call me, I'll deliver the car, and you and Dad go out for ice cream. This is the thought that Kevin had. It was always about somebody else. Wherever we went, whatever he did, he thought first of somebody else. And as somebody else said, it didn't matter if we were late because he was not going to leave until somebody had had the chance to talk about their loved one. So to my buddy, who I miss terribly, he always ended a conversation with miss you, love you, bye.
Deep breath. And now a video.
Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day? Were you in the yard with your wife and children, or working on some stage in LA? Did you stand there in shock at the sight of that black smoke rising against that blue sky? Did you shout out in anger and fear for your neighbor, or did you just sit down and cry? Did you weep for the children who lost their dear loved ones, pray for the ones who don't know? Did you rejoice for the people who walked from the rubble and sobbed for the ones left below? Did you burst out with pride for the red, white, and blue, and the heroes who died just doing what they do? Did you look up to heaven for some kind of answer, and look at yourself and what really matters? I'm just a singer of simple songs. I'm not a real political man. I watch CNN, but I'm not sure I can tell you the difference in Iraq and Iran. But I know Jesus and I talk to God, and I remember this from when I was young. Faith, hope, and love are some good things He gave us, and the greatest is love. Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day? Teaching a class full of innocent children, or driving down some cold interstate? Did you feel guilty cause you're a survivor? In a crowded room, did you feel alone? Did you call up your mother and tell her you loved her? Did you dust off that Bible at home? Did you open your eyes and hope it never happened? Close your eyes and not go to sleep? Did you notice the sunset the first time in ages, and speak to some stranger on the street? Did you lay down at night and think of tomorrow, go out and buy you a gun? Did you turn off that violent old movie you're watching and turn on I Love Lucy reruns? Did you go to a church and hold hands with some strangers, stand in line and give your own blood? Did you just stay home and cling tight to your family? Thank God you had somebody to love. I'm just a singer of simple simple songs. I'm not a real political man. I watch CNN, but I'm not sure I can tell you the difference in Iraq and Iran. But I know Jesus and I talk to God, and I remember this from when I was young. Faith, hope, and love are some good things He gave us, and the greatest is love. I'm just a singer of simple songs. I'm not a real political man. I watch CNN, but I'm not sure I can tell you the difference in Iraq and Iran. But I know Jesus and I talk to God, and I remember this from when I was young. Faith, hope, and love are some good things He gave us, and the greatest is love. And the greatest is love. And the greatest is love. Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day?
Ooh, that was a powerful song. I love Jesus. And I talk to God. The greatest of these is love. And as a law enforcement officer, as we do memorials once a year, we always talk about John 15:3, where you talk about giving your life for your brothers. The greatest of these is love. And so I found it really interesting when I got the notification from Tiffany on the day and the significance of that day. That is considered a day of love. So for us to lose him on a day of love also means that every year when that day of love returns, he will always be first and foremost in our life. So what a loving tribute to a loving man. Amen? Amen. So now we're going to hear from the extended family. So we're going to welcome up Jen.
Hello. I'd like to start with how I met Kevin. Kim, I think you'll appreciate this one. Playing poker at the Santa Fe, Kevin and Tiffany are at the table, and Kevin's next to me. And he's like, Jen, I have had the worst day. I said, yeah, my day hasn't been too great either. So we go on a 10-minute break, and he wants to tell me about this worst day of his. And he goes on for 9.5 minutes about the shitty haircut he had that day. And then he turns to me, he's like, oh yeah, Jen, you said you didn't have that great of a day either. What happened? I go, I had to let go of 50 people today at work. And he's like, oh my God, and you let me talk about this for my haircut for 9.5 minutes. So after that, we sat back down and played poker and realized that he knows my husband. And they had met at a swim meet that both of our children swam in high school. So from there, I invited him over for dinner, and we had a great time, which turned into, I don't know, feeding him at least 4 times a week. Yep. Babysitting him. You'll have some of the mashed potatoes he loved here, and Kendall made his mac and cheese. Dee made banana cream pie, which I think there's some dessert here for everyone. However, Kevin kind of ruined it when he put it into the microwave. So, and then I want to share a car story with you as well. I got a new boss at work, and he ranks all of us on how we do driving him around town when he comes into town. So I was talking to Kevin about it, and we agreed that we should take one of the angel cars and pick him up. His son-in-law is a Top Gun pilot. And so I picked him up. It was great. We took a video. We sent it out to all my peers. I was the hero. I had #1. Never can anyone ever top this. Until the tire blew out on the way to the store. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Do you think Kevin or Tiffany are answering their phone at 10 o'clock in the morning? My boss is in the car. So I called Kelsey. He went over to the house. and he found them. So it ended up being a really great lunch. And he still gives me crap about not making it to the store that day. Also, I think, you know, through poker and cards and laughter and fun, we play a lot of poker. And I see so many people in this room that through poker, we have all gotten to know Kevin and gotten to know him really well. So Kevin sometimes, you know, likes the attention on Kevin. So a couple years ago, it was his birthday, and as always, I throw everybody, try to do a birthday poker party at the house. It just happened to be the same day my new cats turned 1 year old. And a lot of you in this room were there that day. So we had a great time. We decorated the whole house in cat decor. We had a cat photo booth. We all wore cat ears. We had cat cake. We had cat Rice Krispie treats. So have a great birthday for Cash and Dash that day. And then afterwards, Kevin said, "Thank you for the best pussy party I ever had." And we talked about Kevin and his photography today. So he offered to do my daughter's senior pictures. So they showed up. He wasn't too happy when they didn't have professional makeup and hair done. And my daughter's like, "Dude, it's just my senior pictures." He took it very seriously, and they turned out beautiful, of course. Kevin did make it on a plane last year, and we had a wonderful trip to Cabo. If you caught the picture on there with him being the only one wearing a life vest on this massive catamaran, and in Kevin's style with his swim shorts on and his dress shoes walking to the beach. I just want to thank Kevin for all the love, the laughter, and the fun that we had together. You will be very missed. Thank you for treating my daughters as if they were your own. Miss you, love you, bye.
And now we'll have you turn your attention to
Hi,
a
this is
video
Jordan,
from Kendall and
to
Jordan.
me, Kevin was nothing major. He was like an annoying, stupid kind of uncle to me, but I still loved him very much and I appreciated him, and I will always cherish all the memories I had with him. And my first memory of Kevin was when he would come over to the house and for poker or cards, and he'd wear the same clothes every time I saw him, and I'm like, "Dude, do you not have another shirt or pair of pants you could wear?" And he's like, "Well, I have 10 of the same colored shirt." And I was like, "Okay, whatever," because like he wore the same thing every single time. And then I finally would make fun of him for it, and he'd be like, every time he'd come over with a different colored shirt, I'm like, "Oh my God, you have a new colored shirt on." He's like, "Well, I did that just for you," because I was his favorite. And that's another thing. Me and my sister have a rivalry, I guess, about who Kevin's favorite was, and I truly believe it was me, because why wouldn't it be? I'm the youngest too, so you know those people always have the little up on favoritism. But also the last few years that we knew Kevin, when I moved to college, my first 2 years, we'd all hang out and play cards or whatever, and when it was time to say goodbye, he'd get up and start like bawling his eyes out. I'm like, "Dude, it's okay, like it's fine," but like he'd get so upset, like he'd never see me again. It's kind of funny. But another important thing that Kevin always taught me was he told me to always keep a $100 bill on me at all times so I could have whatever I want, whenever I want. So every year for my birthday, I'd always get a $100 bill. I'd also had a joke with him that like whatever year I turned that year, like 1920, he would give me $1,900 bills, but that never happened, obviously, but it's okay. But I loved Kevin very much, and I cherish all the memories I had with him, and I will miss him very much. And yeah, Kevin was a great, funny, stupid kind of guy, but all right. Miss you, love you, bye.
Hey guys, it's Kevin's actual favorite. If Jordan told you she's the favorite, she lied. I was the favorite, and forever will be. But I'm actually here to talk about my bestie, Kevin. Kevin was, and forever will be, one of the greatest people I ever got to meet. He brought so much fun and light into our lives and anyone in my family that we grew so close to consider each other family and spend holidays and birthdays together and a million things. Something that I loved doing with Kevin personally was how seriously he took our card games. For those of you who don't know, we play a card game in my family called Shanghai Rummy. We take it very seriously. All of us are very competitive, which makes it more fun. So Kevin thought he was like pretty good at this game, all right? He thought he was like the shit. And so much so that he decided that we should keep score on who wins the most games. And you know what we did? We did exactly that. We took a whiteboard and put it in our game room. We wrote all of our names on it, those of us who play, and we started keeping tallies of how many games we had won for 2 whole years. 2 whole years. And I will say, throughout the entire 2 years, my mother reigned as champion. I hate to say it, but she's just always good and will forever be good. So Kevin would always try very, very hard to beat my mother, but it just couldn't happen. And something else I love doing with Kevin was a really fun memory was when we went to Cabo together. We finally dragged him onto a plane after so many years, because those of you who don't know, he was very afraid of flying, but we finally got him to come on vacation with us. And when we were out there, we all decided to take like a catamaran cruise with me and my family. I think there was a total of 11 of us on this trip at the time. And we rented a catamaran boat that could fit like 30 to 40, 50 people, and there was just 11 of us. So we were having a blast, right? But Kevin was a little nervous to get on the boat. So nervous, in fact, that he made sure that he wore a life vest. The boat was big enough for us not to wear life vests. We were fine. He was even scared so much so that he begged Tiffany to wear one. And so in every single picture we took on this boat, every single photo, Kevin is wearing that bright orange life vest. Because he was so adamant that he was nervous. It took him until 2 hours into this catamaran cruise for him to take it off. And I'll never forget that. And I was just very blessed to be able to spend these last few years with Kevin and just create a bunch of memories that I will forever be grateful for. And I will always be remembering my bestie forever. And remember, I'm the favorite.
I love it. We're getting some laughter in here. So everyone can't see what's up here, but there's a cool saying that I just saw in the front here. And it talks about teaching a child to thank a hero today. Right? And actually it's a it's a picture of him and President Clinton. But and I think there was in there, he was with George Bush, right? In the video there? So he's gotten to be, look at that, thank you. Wrong one. Yeah, exactly, Vanna, thank you, Vanna. Real quick before we call up our next person, I wanted to share something that really touched my heart. Tiffany just reminded me of it. When I got a chance to ride and drive one of the Angel vehicles, and it was during 2020 when we were dealing with COVID. And I got to drive the law enforcement vehicle, the vehicle that's dedicated to first responders during that time. And it was a police ride to honor and thank our first responders that were essential, right? They were essential. So it was a real blessing. It was a real honor. And when you guys go out there, I just love the stories that were shared about people finding their loved ones on those vehicles and how it's changed their lives. So think about that as you remember Kevin and how just one name that he personally wrote on there with his own hand, and their loved ones and colleagues seeing that name somewhere around the nation could really have changed lives, right? Amen. So next we have Dr. Dan. Yes?
I'm jumping in here.
What happened?
This was not on there.
Well, identify yourself.
Hello. I'm better out loud, so I'll use the mic. But I'm Dave Eckerson. I'm an old Marine, and it's a pleasure to be here with everybody and hear the amazing stories of Kevin, who's a soul that will live on, and his spirit will live on with each and every one of us here forever. And this wasn't on the order of service, but this is something I've been working on. Well, I should say Headquarters Marine Corps, myself and a team of others working on to present to Miss Tiffany on behalf of Kevin, and it's to honor Kevin and everything he's done for our beloved first responders, military, but in this case, 38 years of dedicating and helping and supporting our Marine Corps. And I want to present this. I'm going to read the certificate. And I would ask, I know many of you, I'm honored and humbled to know a lot of people in this room. And I look forward to meeting more of you, because I know everybody sitting in this room before me has been affected in so many beautiful ways by Kevin. And the way Kevin and I met, we met because we shared a mutual brother and friend, Arlie Ermy, who was part of the Drill Instructor Association until the day he passed and went on to glory. So with that being said, we've become really close. I love this family. I love this group of people here. No matter where they are in the country, you can reach out to them, and they're always willing to help in the good times, the bad times, the sad times. And Kevin and Tiffany are just truly amazing people, and I'm blessed to have Lisa and Kane and I are blessed to have them in our lives. And Kevin, I know for a fact, all the conversations we had personally, we shared all the same values in our faith, the golden rule, teaching our youth so they can step in and be those good citizens, patriots, warriors, whatever life path they choose. And Kevin believed that from his head to toe and his entire being and soul. So with that being said, if I could have you join me up here, Tiffany. Thank you. Okay, so on behalf of the Marine Corps, General Smith, the current Commandant of the Marine Corps, and Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Carlos Ruiz, I will read the following certificate. From Headquarters Marine Corps, Certificate of Flag Presentation to Kevin M. Howard. It is a universal custom to display the flag from sunrise to sunset on buildings and stationary flagpoles in the open. The national ensign is flown constantly at the Marine Corps War Memorial in Arlington, Virginia. This flag was flown on March 7th, 2025. The Marine Corps War Memorial, as a symbol of America's esteem for the homeland, the honored dead in the U.S. Marine Corps, while the status depicts of the most famous incidents of World War II. The memorial is a dedication to all Marines who have given their lives in the service of the United States since 1775. On the morning of 19 February 1945, the 4th and 5th Divisions invaded Iwo Jima. After somewhat ineffective 72 hours of bombardment, the 28th Marine Regiment, 5th Marine Division, was ordered to capture Mount Suribachi. They reached the base of Mount Suribachi on the afternoon of 21 February, and by nightfall of the 22nd, had almost completely surrounded it. On the morning of 23 February, men of Company E, 28th Marines, started the tenuous climb up the rough terrain to the top. At about 10:30 in the morning, Marines and sailors all over the island were thrilled by the sight of a small American flag flying from atop Mount Suribachi. That afternoon, when the slopes were clear of enemy resistance, a second larger flag was raised by 6 Marines, Sergeant Michael Stark, Corporal Harlem Block, Corporal Harold R. Kyler, Private First Class Franklin R. Sowerly, Private First Class Ira Hayes, and Private First Class Harold Shuttle. News photographer Joe Rosenthal caught the afternoon flag raising in an inspiring Pulitzer Prize winning photograph. When the picture was later released, sculptor Felix W. de Weldon, then on duty with the U.S. Navy, was so moved by the scene that he constructed a scale replica and then a life-size model of the flag raising. The American flag that accompanies this certificate was raised and lowered from the United States Marine Corps War Memorial in honor of your 38 years of dedicated and faithful service to the United States Marine Corps. Just one more thing. I wanted to thank the Leatherneck, Ghost, and the entire team here. They always, since I've been here and found out about the Leatherneck, it's a second home for me, and I know it is for all of you. And I want everybody give Ghost and the entire Leatherneck team a round of applause. So, real quick story of how much KEVYN touched people that in some cases he never even knew, from all the things he's done, be it his acting career or just interacting one-on-one. So reaching out to Sergeant Major Carlos Ruiz and his team, Master Gunnery Sergeant Jackson, Master Sergeant Hollins, Gunnery Sergeant Seitz, when she took the request over to do this honor for KEVYN and to present to Tiffany, the corporal at Henderson Hall. Henderson Hall was stood up in 1941. It's named after Archibald Henderson, the grand old man of the Marine Corps. He served as Commandant of the Marine Corps for 39 years, and he served a total of 52 years in the Marine Corps, thus the name, the grand old man of the Marine Corps. Well, when Gunny Seitz took the request over to Henderson Hall, the corporal that was going to be running KEVYN's flag up saw the request, and he just stopped and was just awestruck. He goes, it was because of KEVYN and Arlie Ermy that young corporal, 30 plus years later, joined the Marine Corps. So he will forever, for generations to come, have a positive effect on not just the community here, but our nation as a whole. And I want to thank, I talked to them this morning up at headquarters Marine Corps. They were excited. The flag finally made it in on Friday. So they did a lot of legwork to make this happen, and I appreciate every one of them. And thank you for letting me cut in here. I know it wasn't on the schedule, but this was important to me. But thank you all. God bless. Semper Fi.
And I have to tell you, I forgive you for bogarting the microphone. Good thing we're friends, right?
Yes. I've been known to do that a couple times.
Stay there, don't go anywhere. You can go. Dismiss. So I'm really excited because there is another exciting surprise presentation for you, coming from Lieutenant Will Smith of the Pentagon Police Department. Lieutenant?
So, I'm not going to get into everything. I've known KEVYN just a few years. I met KEVYN a few years ago. I met Kevin a few years ago when he came to the Pentagon, and I actually got to know Tiffany first. So I used to tease Kevin that if it wasn't for Tiffany, I wouldn't know who the hell he was. Keep this brief. This gentleman over here, I didn't know what Gunny Sergeant Sykes was talking about when I walked in a few weeks ago and said, hey, I'm looking to do something. She said, you're here to pick up the flag for Iwo Jima. And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. So great minds think alike here. They really do. So before I present these letters that I have to Tiffany, real briefly, I'm retired Air Force, 20 years. I've been in federal law enforcement for almost 29 years. Part of my tours that I give at the Pentagon after I do the 9/11 is I go through the leadership hallways and I talk about the different leadership. Military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard, and now Space Force, we all have fun at each other's expense. But if you try to come into our world and you're making fun of us, we're all going to jump on you. It's just the way it is, all right? Now, as an Air Force guy, I recognize the Marine Corps is special, okay? Because once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. You're not retired or whatever, you're just a Marine. It's just the way it is. A little quick history for the folks in here that are not Marines. Marines are the oldest fighting force that America has. There were mariners that were fighting off pirates and protecting shipping lanes when we were the 13 colonies. This is before George Washington ever formed the United States Army. So we had Marines fighting for us before we were even a country. Okay, so God bless each and every Marine. With that said, I have several things I'm going to present to you from some leadership. We're all getting there. From the office of the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps to the family of KEVYN Major Howard. Please accept my deepest condolences for your loss. His passing is felt by the entire community, and our thoughts are with you in this time. The call to service is something that a select few feel throughout their lifetime. For some, that becomes a life in uniform under sworn oath. For others, like KEVYN, it is sparked by an experience and take on a life of its own. Through his work as an actor and founder of Fueled for the Fallen, his impact is beyond measure. The world has lost a remarkable man, but his legacy will continue to inspire and guide those who follow in his footsteps. Your family should be proud of the legacy he's created. He will be forever remembered by all who knew him, and were blessed to receive his kindness, generosity, and love. We are proud to have people like KEVYN supporting our Marines and keeping their spirit alive. I know his name will take a place among them. May you find comfort and love in the time you shared, and may he rest in peace. Signed, Semper Fidelis, Carlos A. Ruiz, the 20th Sergeant Major of the U.S. Marine Corps. And off to the side, he's got a little note. It says, Rafter Man. Gets to live inside a Marine Corps lore for the next 100 years. God bless.
My hands are wet, so I'm going to place a towel because I was crying.
Dear Miss Howard, it is with deep sadness that I have learned of the heartbreaking loss of your husband, KEVYN Major Rafterman Howard. On behalf of the U.S. Armed Forces, please accept my deepest sympathy. No words can adequately express the depth of gratitude we owe your husband, and the contributions that he made on behalf of the military will be deeply missed. KEVYN was a great actor, a patriot with great moral character. He willingly shouldered great responsibility in his career of performances that recorded the pride and dedication it takes when serving and defending the ideals and values upon which our country was founded. We will never forget impact that your husband had on the military, the veterans, and our future recruits. KEVYN's legacy of sacrifice to hone his profession will leave an indelible mark on the military for years to come. May your faith, family, and friends provide some solace during this difficult time. My wife Stacy and I join you in a grateful nation in mourning this tremendous loss. We keep you in our hearts and will always honor your husband by remembering his faithful service and legacy of the selfless duty on behalf of the members that serve our nation. With deepest sympathy, the 19th United States Marine Corps Sergeant Major and the current Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, Troy E. Black. Caleb, this one's yours. We got one more. To the family of Kevin Major Howard, on behalf of all Marines, I offer heartfelt condolences on the loss of your husband and father, Kevin. We are saddened to learn of his passing and have the utmost respect for his contributions, both on screen and in service to others. From his iconic portrayal of Rafterman in Full Metal Jacket to his dedicated charitable work, he leaves behind a lasting legacy that resonates deeply within the Marine Corps and beyond. His performance captures the grit, the camaraderie, and sacrifice that define Marines, earning admiration from those who served and those who came to understand military life through his work. We join you in mourning his passing and celebrating a life spent in service to a greater cause. We know words cannot ease the pain of this loss, but we hope you find comfort in the support of family, friends, and all those who hold him in the highest regard. Please know that we are keeping your family in our thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. With the deepest of sympathy, Eric M. Smith, General, United States Marine Corps, Commandant of the Marines. One last thing before I let the girls and I step off page. I need Ghost to come up front, please. All you gotta do is look for the oldest guy in here.
These are my fans, brother.
So in recognition of Ghost hosting this in here, and just as a note, I play senior softball. That's how I got to know these guys. I come out here once a year every September for the World Tournament. I have Marines on this team that heard what I was doing this weekend. They took one picture or one look at your website online. They're like, Will, we're going there to get drunk. That's okay. I said, I will make sure. I'll get to know the owner and maybe we'll get a pass to get in. So we wanted to recognize real briefly. I'd already told the young ladies here what we were going to do. We were just going to bring something for you because of what you've put out for everybody for today. So this is the flag of the United States that I flew over the Pentagon personally. And in gratitude for your dedication and service with the United States Marine Corps, this flag was flown over the Pentagon and is hereby presented to Corporal Tom Martin.
Thank you. Another round of applause. Yes, please. Pick up your cross. So, Ghost. Oh my goodness, Ghost. Oh my goodness. Ghost, you have opened this house up to so many veteran organizations in our community that we thank you and we love you and we feel like we have a home. As the immediate past president of the UNLV Veterans Alumni Club, I say thank you to you because you have hosted us here several times. So we thank you, and I want to give them another round of applause. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about poker. So we're back to another hat, right? All right, so Dr. Dan is going to come up and share. Uh-oh.
Thank you. When I was first commanded by my wife that I had to speak today, asked to speak, I asked myself, what would I say? Would I give him tribute or would I roast him? And the thing about Kevin, if he was here tonight, this afternoon, he would have loved the tribute and the love that we're showing him. Actually, he would prefer that it was somebody else's memorial service, but nonetheless, he would have loved what we're doing. And so tonight, I'm going to give him tribute, but as President Trump might say, roast, baby, roast. Now, my association with KEVYN started about 5-6 years ago. I was at home on a Thursday night, Dee was on her phone, watching videos, and I watched a movie, and it just happened to be Death Wish 2. And KEVYN had a major role in that movie. He played Stomper, who was a deadbeat, creepy guy that he was brilliant. And I was fascinated by his performance. He was a wonderful actor. And he ends up getting killed at the end, but he made an impression on me. Fast forward 24 hours. I am at the Golden Nugget, and I'm playing poker. And all of a sudden, who should walk by me but Stomper? I immediately throw in my cards, I go up to him, I tap him on the shoulder, and he turns around and looks at me like, oh, you want my autograph? Now, I need to put this into context. I was there to play poker. KEVYN was there to give autographs. Now, it had been a slow night for KEVYN. He had only given out maybe 600 or 700 of them. And I'd like to talk about 5 of them. The first one, a woman comes up and asks him for his autograph picture. It turns out she thought he was the father of her 10-year-old son. Another guy needed a couple to patch his roof because it was leaky. Another guy needed a couple because he thought it'd be good wallpaper in his garage. A fourth guy wanted a pic because he thought that KEVYN was going out with his girl, so he needed a copy for his voodoo doll and voodoo ceremony. And then finally, the 5th and final guy ran after him and said, I need your autograph, Mr. Pitt. Now, I can buy the first 4, but Brad Pitt, now maybe Marty Feldman, but not Brad Pitt. Now, I want to tell you something about KEVYN. Ever watched the show Cheaters? That show was really made for him. KEVYN was a cheater, but he was a good cheater in a good way, but a bad cheater. You see, he knew he was going to cheat. He never cheated at poker, But other card games, you could bank on it. You could take it to the bank. Now, KEVYN knew he was going to cheat. We knew he was going to cheat. He did cheat. He knew he was going to get caught, and we always caught him. But he was such a wonderful guy. You could make fun of him. You could pay tribute to him. He was always humble and down to earth. Now, KEVYN loved to play Hold'em. That was his favorite game, and he was very good at it. He was tough. He was really tough. He also, if he liked another type of poker, it would have been strip poker. But KEVYN would have cheated at strip poker. Really. He would have tried to lose. He would have been the first one out. He would have come with the same old shirt and pants he always wore, no socks, and of course, commando. Now, you probably have noticed all these bracelets here. Now, whenever we go to Kurt and Jen's and play poker, if you win a tournament, you get a bracelet. And you can see that I've won a couple. Now, KEVYN has twice the number of bracelets that I have. Now, some people have See? Now, KEVYN had twice the number of bracelets I had. And some people think he got them illegitimately. No, I was with him when he bought them at the dollar store. Now, I often teased him as to why he didn't wear any bracelets on his wrist. And he goes, Dan, it's a constitutional thing. I go, constitutional thing. Now, being a lawyer, I understand the Constitution. I know the Constitution. Sometimes I feel like I was there when it was written. Now, KEVYN said it was a constitutional thing. I go, okay, fine. I've never viewed him as being a constitutional scholar. But after his explanation, I understood that he knew the Constitution better than a lot of the federal judges we have in our government today. Okay? Now, I go, okay, run this by me. What's it mean? He goes, Dan, it's a constitutional thing. It's the Second Amendment. I go, Second Amendment? He goes, yeah, bear arms. Yeah. Now, KEVYN loved life. He lived it with dignity, determination, and he fought for every wrong that he saw was wrong. He fought for what was right, but he fought to destroy anything that he viewed that was wrong. He also loved food, family, and friends. He put the F in food. He also put the love in friends. But he really loved his family, especially his #1 supporter and fan, Tiffany. Okay? He and I often had a lot of private conversations, and we talked about our wives and how special they were, and sometimes how special they weren't. But KEVYN loved Tiffany immensely. KEVYN also loved our country. He had dual citizenship. He was from Canada. You know that place that's our 51st state? Or is it Greenland's 51st and Canada's 52nd? I don't know. But he loved America. He loved our country. He loved our military, especially the Marine Corps. He loved his friends. He loved law enforcement. Lost my place. Okay, and he loved first responders, as shown by the formation of his foundation, Fueled by the Fallen, which he was totally dedicated to. Okay, he loved his friends. Now, what I'm about to say, this is for you guys. Ladies, you can listen. Okay, but guys, when I say this, you're gonna go, uh-huh. Now, I was raised by a family that was strict. They taught us, boys, you don't cry. You don't whine. You suck it up. Be a man. Take some Pepto-Bismol. Now, KEVYN wasn't like that. One of the first times when I came over to Jen and Kurt's, KEVYN came up and gave me a big hug and a kiss on the cheek. I don't know what's going on here. But I learned that it was KEVYN's way to really show that he loved you. He put the love in friends. And he spelled friends, L-O-V-E. Now, there have been many people that have influenced my life. My former ex-wife, who, after the divorce, she had so much money, I was almost interested in her again. My 10th grade biology teacher, who could have flunked me and forgave me and became a role model for me, and he died a few years ago. But he didn't punish me when I put black shoe polish on a couple of the microscope lenses, so when you went like this. Okay. Somehow he found out that I did it. My parents, who taught me hard work and honor and dedication. And then Kevin Major Howard, a guy that couldn't even spell his first name correctly. Made such an influence on my life. He taught me honor, he taught me humble, he taught me what friends are supposed to be like. I will miss him. We'll all miss him. And I'd like to leave it with Psalm 17:8. Keep me as the apple of your eye, O Lord. Hide me under the shades of your wings. And I'm sure that's exactly what he's doing for Kevin tonight. And so I'm going to end it with Kevin's familiar sayings. The bus leaves in the morning, be under it. And the second thing, love you, miss you, bye. But today I say love you, miss you, and you'll always be in our hearts. Thanks, Kevin.
On a warm summer's eve, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns staring out the window at the darkness. The boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I made my life out of reading people's faces and knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind, say, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice." So I handed him my bottle, and we drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. And the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. Said, "If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done." Now every gambler knows the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away, knowing what to keep. 'Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser. The best you can hope for is to die in your sleep. So when he finished speaking, he turned back toward the window, crushed out his cigarette, faded off to sleep. Then somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even. But in his final words, I found an ace that I can keep. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.
So there's another hat. The hat is, the newest hat is podcast talk show host. Talk the talk Laughter Man, and his co-host, Richard Caruso. Let's welcome up Richard Caruso.
What an honor and privilege it is to be here today. I mean, everyone in the seats out here could be up here talking about this amazing man, our amazing friend, and I'm just fortunate to be one of many that love and respected both KEVYN and Tiffany and Kayla. We love you. I met KEVYN on his 9/11 tribute across America with the angel cars. He didn't know who I was. And somebody let him know about me and basically told him my story, in which I'm a United States Marine. I'm also a retired law enforcement. I was involved in a pivotal story in California in which I changed the prison system in California forever, and by exposing misconduct in which people were being killed, and I put an end to it. And KEVYN respected my story, respected me, and respected my journey. And I'll never forget the first morning of waking up and meeting KEVYN and Tiffany. We were in Virginia, and I came walking out of my room, and KEVYN came walking out, and the cars were there, and there were two young gang members there, and one was in a wheelchair, two African-American men, probably early 20s. And KEVYN started the Rafter Man talk, and I went up and approached him and started saying, I'm Rafter Man from the movie Full Metal Jacket, and these gang members are looking at him with this blank look. And he goes, you know, are you guys homeless? And they said, yes, we are. And the one individual said that he had been shot, and both are trying to get back on their feet, and KEVYN was reaching his hand out to help them. And then I interjected. I said, well, have you ever seen the movie Fil-Am? And their eyes got big, and I go, that is my movie, and that is my story, and I'm the producer, and I wrote the part of that script. And they go, we've heard of Fil-Am, we watched Fil-Am. And then KEVYN goes, you watched Fil-Am and you haven't seen Full Metal Jacket? And so KEVYN looked at me like, who are you? Looking at me like, who are you? And I looked at him like, I know who you are, KEVYN. And so KEVYN quickly realized that him and I could put our stories together and help others. And that's what me and KEVYN were good at. You know, we can talk Hollywood, we can talk Marine Corps, we can talk sports. What KEVYN and I were good at is we try to find a common story with strangers. And if they're interested in law enforcement or the military or games or bikers, or we have that story of people that we touched in our lives that we can reach our hand out and get that common ground and get their attention, because a lot of people just don't want to stop and talk to you. KEVYN and I do that. We stop, we fight for the underdog. We fight for the person out there that can't stand up for themselves. And KEVYN quickly realized that's what I do. And that's what he did. And I did it more in the sense of it was therapy for me. And I truly believe, I mean, I'll never forget, we were at Costco. We had cars at Costco. And this is outside of Pennsylvania. And you know, KEVYN had that demeanor of happy-go-lucky, and I would start singing the Mickey Mouse song that was in Full Metal Jacket, like he was marching to it, because he was just that kind of guy, right? And we were in Costco, and he started panicking. And we're like, you remember him? and we're like, what's wrong, what's wrong? He goes, I can't find the credit card. I can't find the credit card. I go, just cancel it, just cancel the credit card. No, Richard, you don't understand. If Tiffany finds out that I lost this credit card, it's gonna be hell on earth, right? And I said, well, where were you last? He goes, I can't remember. I've talked to so many people, I've dropped this. There we go. And he goes, I can't remember. I go, well, you just came out of the bathroom, go in the bathroom, look in the bathroom. And I mean, he was sweating bullets because he feared the the wrath of the general, right? Because if anyone has worked with Fueled by the Fallen or worked with KEVYN, they know that everything goes through Tiffany, and that's his rock right there. So he went in the bathroom, he came out, and he's all happy, and he got the credit card, and that's when we all start singing M-I-C-K-U-I-M-O-U-S-E. He was all happy for that. Another quick story. I had an Army veteran brother of mine that was blown up in a Humvee, and his arm was blown off, and he's got probably 60 or 70% of his body is burned, his whole head is burned. And we traveled to Canada, we traveled all over the United States, but he's a very high profile veteran that is out there in the veteran community giving back. And he's very recognizable. His name is Bobby Henline. And he was here in Las Vegas, he was coming here for a comedy show. And I said, God, I wish that KEVYN and Tiffany could meet Bobby. Well, Bobby's wife was named Jamie. And Jamie, she's not familiar with the veteran community. She's not familiar. She's now familiar with it, but back then she wasn't. So I said, I have a couple of friends in Las Vegas that I would love you and Bobby to meet. And so they said, well, Richard, this is a private event for Marines, and they're having Bobby come in and talk. And, you know, I don't think we can get Tiffany, your friend Tiffany and KEVYN in. I'm like, listen, you know, just do your best. These are special. This is a special couple. So I called KEVYN and Tiffany. I said, hey, go over here to this casino. Bobby is being honored over here. So here Bobby Henline is over there being honored, and you got all these Marines in there. And his wife Jamie goes up to the person that's in charge of the event, which is a Marine, and says, you know, I really apologize, but there's a couple that's gonna come here. They're not on the list to get in. And his name is Kevin Major Howard. His wife is named Tiffany. Is there a problem having them come into this event? And he was kind of hesitant. He goes, oh no, they can come in. And then Jamie said, and he was in some movie and they call him Rafter Man. And the Marine said, what's his name? Rafter Man. He goes, Rafter Man's coming in here? He goes, well, yeah, they're over there right now. All those Marines left Bobby sitting there, and they all went over to Tiffany and KEVYN and started loving on KEVYN, and Bobby's texting me, who is it, what the heck's going on here? But that was just the way it was. And for KEVYN, you know, he used the Hollywood thing or whatever it took to get the attention of the person that he was talking about. But someone mentioned it earlier. The person that he was talking to, no matter who he was or who she was, he made you feel heard. It wasn't fake. I mean, everything that when he was giving that person his time, he made that person realize, I hear you, I feel your pain. I'll try to do what I can do to help you. And that's what I do out in the community, in the communities across this country, is that I have a toolbox of resources. And in those toolboxes, I have certain tools that I use to help others. When I met Kevin Major Howard and Tiffany and Fueled by the Fallen, they became a powerful tool in that toolbox that I use to, if I needed help, I got also Ghost here from the Leatherneck Club. He was one of those Marine brothers that anytime I called, there was never a no. Kevin, I got a Marine that's suffering. Is there any way that you could call him and talk to him for 5 minutes? It was never a no. Kevin always made that call. They embraced me as family, and I realized quickly that I had their trust. I had their love, and they invited me out here to Las Vegas to be on KEVYN's podcast to talk about my story. And I was very honored. So just before I came out, I got married. And I never thought I would get married again, but I met my beautiful wife, Phyllis. And as I walked off the beach of getting married, I got a text from KEVYN, you all kicked your punk coverage. talking about my beautiful wife, Phyllis. So he goes, you gotta come out and do my podcast. I said, okay, I'll come out. So we came on out and we went to dinner and we started talking. And we talked about life. And I sat right there and I looked at him. And I looked at Tiffany and I said, tomorrow is not guaranteed. tomorrow is not guaranteed. We need to do something as a couple, and we started planning a cruise together. We bought tickets for the cruise. And he realized, he knew tomorrow was not guaranteed. But the life that he lived in the 60 plus years on this earth, like someone talked to before, was a man that lived 100 years. And the love that he spread throughout this country is reflected in this room. And I guarantee you there's thousands that wish they could be here. Thousands that wish they could come up here and have this mic and tell the story about this amazing man, KEVYN Major Howard. He just, he had the ability to connect, and he didn't talk down to people. And he made, like someone was talking about before, it didn't matter if it was the janitor or the CEO, he was gonna stop and talk. We were leaving out of Costco, and we had fueled up with the cars, and Tiffany was cracking the whip. We gotta go, get KEVYN, we gotta go. And we're telling KEVYN, we gotta go, let's go. He would not leave. He would not walk away from that child that wanted his autograph, that stranger that was putting his hand out to him. He just, when we started talking like that, he just blocked us out. But this is who KEVYN Major Howard was. And when I did talk the talk, I was fortunate and unfortunate to be the last person interviewed by KEVYN on the podcast. And I considered it a blessing, but also I was very sad. And we got the call from Tiffany on February 13th that KEVYN, didn't look good for KEVYN. And I was like, I seen her call come through, and Phyllis was sitting there, and I go, I don't want to answer this call. I don't want to answer this call. I just felt it. And I answered the call. And then the next day was February 14th. And I go, Phyllis, she's not saying anything because she doesn't want to ruin our Valentine's Day. All the people that love KEVYN and her, she didn't want to ruin Valentine's Day. And what was so weird, it was like God was talking to me. And Phyllis can attest to this. We were going out for our Valentine's dinner in Sarasota, Florida. And there was a show on TV. And I went to shut the show off, and Phyllis was listening to this as I shut it off. The main two characters, as we walked out, said Tiffany and KEVYN. And we're like, what? And Phyllis looked at me like it was like a ghost. The characters were Tiffany and KEVYN. And I go, Phyllis, he's gone. He's gone. And so my last text from KEVYN was, brother, I'm not ready to go. Tiffany and Kayla need me. So with that being said, Tiffany and Kayla need us, okay? And the family needs us. And everyone hears about Rafter Man, and they want to run to Rafter Man, but that family is standing there in the background, and they're silently supporting Rafter Man, and they have throughout all these years. And now our beloved KEVYN is gone, and I hope that the people that were so ready to run to KEVYN still run to the family, still run to Tiffany and Kayla, because they're the ones that are going to need our love. And I promised Tiffany that I will still be coming and running to her whenever she needs me, or whenever the family needs us, me and Phyllis. So on that, I just want to let you know, thank you, sweetheart, for letting me come and talk. Kayla, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming today and giving me the opportunity to tell you how wonderful and special KEVYN Major Howard was. Miss you, love you, goodbye, KEVYN.
You know
right, let's get your attention towards the front.
All right, so, can everybody hear me? Yeah. I got a master voice, it's fine.
Okay, are you confirming you can hear him back there?
Stand down, Army.
I have my command voice. We don't need anything.
So, you know, me and Kevin used to have chocolate milk every week. Either I ran out, he brought it over. I never drank so much chocolate milk in my life. Okay? That's where I got the sexiness. Okay? You too. Kevin, to me, was a great human being. I saw him work with veterans. Anything I asked him to do, you know, with veterans, man, he loved it. He loved life. You know, I open my car door now for my wife because Kevin always said, open ladies' car doors. He's trying to be a good husband. Happy wife, happy life. So Kevin taught me a lot of stuff. And we had many conversations, and I love the guy, and I miss him. He was a great human being, and I love him.
I called Kevin my brother from another mother. Our forefathers pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to the country. If you know what Kevin did over these years, the Field by the Fallen, he did that. He pledged his life. If you know how he went out, he was injured, he still was out there. He pledged his fortune and his honor to make sure that he treated everybody he met as someone he loved. He was a man, a brother, that will honor our memories.
Here's to Kevin!
Salute!
Cheers, salute! That's right, love you, miss you, bye. Let's all say it together. Love you, miss you, bye.
All right, let's welcome Al Batis up to the store, or up to the front, and you too. Alan, yes? You need some assistance? You'll be fine. Yes. All right, hang on, everybody.
Just came up to say hello to you, and I didn't want to come up here. I was involved with the 9/11 remembrance, the 10-year anniversary of the towers coming down. And I'm a retired Las Vegas firefighter after 25 years. And went to art school at one point, and of course, with that kind of background, what you do is become a professional firefighter, of course. And one thing led to another, but without getting into that whole story, you hold this. I created a painting based on, oddly enough, you were talking about the Iwo Jima. And this is, I call it Return to Glory. And it's a restatement of the landing in Iwo Jima with the posture of the Marines, of course, but as firefighters raising a ladder with the illusion of a flag in the sky or coming out of a window in the second floor. So it looks like a shadow, but that's actually the photo, the Rosenthal photo superimposed on the background. It's a licensed photo that combines the whole thing. So I am giving this is the last of the canvas editions of these, which we had 1945, based on the land, of course, or raised the flag. And I'm giving this to Tiffany from my heart. And it was great working with Kevin.
Thank you very much. He also did a piece that was our hood ornament of Angel One that Chuck spoke of earlier. And that piece is actually on the back of Angel 3 on the redo version on the second edition. So we're very blessed to have your artwork displayed across the country. And thank you for all your years of service. Thank you.
Thank you. First off, I want to commend Tiffany. Let's give her a round of applause. Now, those of you that know, and I've heard it through the whole grain of what's been going on here, is this woman is used to being in charge. She's used to running the show. She's used to doing any and all things to make things happen. And when she asked me to do the opening prayer, I said, you know, as the chaplain, I help facilitate. You need to relax, and you need to take it all in, and you need to enjoy this celebration of the life of your husband, not having to worry about the next step and this and that and the other. And she accepted, and she did. So let's give her a round of appreciation. As we all probably know how hard that was for her. So, yes, yes. So I'm gonna release now to her, so she and Kayla can say their final words, and I'll just do a very quick prayer of blessing over everyone here. So just bow your heads. And Lord, Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to gather together and to remember Kevin and to celebrate his life, Lord. Father, we pray that you continue to bless Tiffany and Kayla and Kim and the whole family, Lord. Give them comfort, Lord. Let them have peace, Father. And as they remember the memory of Kevin, and for each and every person that is here, I pray that you too will be able to put your, just hug their necks and just let them feel the love. And let them know how much they are appreciated and loved by you, by God, and by Kevin. And we just ask for that all. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
There was a lot to go through with Kevin. He was had many chapters and careers in his life. So first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone that came and traveled from afar. I had a lot of people fly in, a lot of people drive in, so this was a great honor, and I thank everyone as I'm looking through the crowd for your time to come and celebrate my wonderful husband, Kevin Major Howard. Friend to all, stepdaughter over here. We called Dad father and Kevin dad. So she had two dads, and they both are amazing men, and we will always cherish Kevin. So thank you very much. We have a final last minute clip of this encompasses everything that Kevin did. Just really listen to the conversation that he's having with this beautiful lady. Take a moment, follow our screen. Oh, Will Sampson. So Will Sampson, the lady in this video, who knows Will Sampson? Raise your hand. All right. Who is he? One? I'll give it one easier. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He was a Native American Indian, about 6'4", 250 pounds, world renowned. So Chief was his name in that film. Please, this is his daughter, and we ran into her very, very strange and unexpectedly. You'll find out. Listen.
Andrew Sampson, and her dad's Will Sampson, and I was just explaining to her, I love her dad's work. Her dad was an amazing, amazing actor, well known internationally. Big time. So I said, I think I worked with your dad, and then she said, no, you worked with my brother Tim. I go, yeah. I did War Party, but here's the story I want her to know now. I do this film called War Party, and Tim and everybody else, the Native American Indians, are walking around talking about each other's Indian names. And I was so impressed with that I wanted my own Indian name. So I said, can I have one? And they said, absolutely, Kevin. We will talk, confer, and we'll get back to you tomorrow morning. I said, all right, cool. So the next morning, everybody shows up, and says about 100 of us. And I think it was Tim, who said, we've got your name, Kevin. I go, really? What is it? And they went, Walking Eagle. I went, wow. Everybody on the set went, wow. I love that name. And I said, what does it mean? I said, you know what it means. too full of shit to fly. You know, it's just great to meet you. Thank you. And what your family has done for the entertainment world. Thank you again. I need a hug. Anyway, Andrea, Kevin, remind our children never got words yes or no, sir, please, and thank you. FieldBallThePhone.org. We're here in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Hard Rock Cafe. Thanks for a great night stay and hospitality. By the way, she has a friend on this particular car. It's the Pentagon of Flight 77. She got the keys randomly and then ended up driving it. I told her to turn on code 3, the lights. And as she comes down, she goes, I think I have a friend in this car. So, her friend.
For all you Sperry people, Brian Anthony Moss, he's not forgotten.
And that was the way Anthony said good morning to her. She didn't bump into Anthony. Anthony called out to her and said, hey, I miss you and love you. Come see me. So, again, Andrew, thank you. Oh, by the way, look how beautiful what she gave me. Miss you, love you, bye.
Take a moment, we have Kevin's obituary, and after the next video slides, we would like to welcome you outside to see the cars briefly so we can make sure we get some tables in here for you guys to have some chow. So, one last slideshow.